Hi there, that's right. Great and glorious, soon to be famous one day, Nick Dutch back on the camera again. And for those of you people who think I'd look really good with a big beard, well, I've got a few things to say to you. Well, the bottom line is, for you guys, it's not going to happen. I know I have hit my 36th birthday, so I'm not actually a young man anymore, but on the other hand, I do still want to try and maintain some youthfulness about my appearance. For those of you who've been curious about my time away from YouTube during the past few days, it's just been a question of taking it easy, catching up with a few old friends and making a few more, and it's been a wonderful time for myself, so I've really enjoyed that. Being 36, it does make me think that there's a number of different stages to humanity, so to speak. There's 16 when you're like, yeah! There's like 26 when you're like, cool. And you're 36 and you're thinking, oh shit. But that's not going to worry me too much. I'm just going to carry on living, carry on doing basically what I do best. Maybe just giving you my insight, giving you my various points of view. I've been thinking more about the Black Mirror experiment that I'm going to be doing, and I just want to make sure that it's nice and clear in your mind so that you understand what I'm trying to do. When a person who's trying a scrying experiment of this type gazes into a black mirror, what they're trying to do is to literally see their own reflection and carry on staring at their own reflection until it gets kind of like fuzzy, and the imagination or the visualization can then start kicking in. So the experience itself is a bit like the Ouija board in the fact that something in the mind creates a result, and that something in the mind in this case creates a visual hallucination. Of course, the big question is, who's pulling the strings and where do the original ideas come from? For those of you who've made comments as to who I should be contacting during the Dark Mirror experiment, I think I've more or less settled on Hermes for the moment, and I think that will be a very interesting deity to deal with. Obviously, I'm not saying that Hermes actually exists. I've got no idea whether he exists or not. But what I can say is there's certain ideas from mythology that we can try and use to latch on to a certain experience, which I hope I'll be able to have, and then to be able to reiterate back to you as clearly and plainly as I can, so you can get some ideas of what can actually happen during a Dark Mirror experiment. And of course, I am encouraging you to experiment yourself with the Dark Mirror. Whether you do it through my method or any other method, that's entirely up to yourself. All I'm here to do is just to carry a message that strange experiences can happen, and it is my goal to encourage people to basically try and have more of these strange experiences without necessarily jumping to the conclusion that the strange experience itself actually proves the thing that the experience suggests. That's all I can do. Of course, there always will be moments when something happens which makes you think like, what's going on here? Is there something supernatural happening? And yes, I've had loads of those things. And that's why I carry on experimenting, exploring, and doing what I do. Now, someone sent me a message recently inquiring about astral projection to other realms, and wanted to try and get my feedback as to precisely what that could actually be, because people do talk about projecting to the astral. They also talk about going to visit an actual, another world as a result of visualization and seeing themselves rising out of their bodies and going to something which is defined by imagery or by concepts, and seeing what they can see there. Yes, some people have reported back the opportunity to be able to actually hold meetings within some alleged astral realms. But these are just reports. They're not necessarily proof positive. And I think we've still got to carry on taking that kind of skeptical approach. What do we mean when we're talking about actually projecting to another world or another realm? An assumption is generated that another world exists, and that certain symbols are doorways, so to speak, to be able to access that other world. The symbols themselves will be descriptive of some thought, mood, personality, and all the rest of that we call an energy. And one will go through the process of visualizing through some variety of pathworking type exercise, traveling through the actual symbol and seeing what's on the other side. And occasionally you see things which are not necessarily what you'd anticipated, and that's part and parcel of this apparently supernatural experience. If a person performs this exercise, can we say that they are actually going to another world? Well, we still have to leave that open. It is completely and utterly unknown. Sure, people have their own convictions, they have their own beliefs, but these are still just convictions and still just beliefs. I still think we've got to carry on taking that kind of semi-skeptical, rational approach when dealing with these phenomena, but it's still important that we do carry on playing around with them. Okay? The occult, as I've mentioned before, is an experiential, experimental art form. It's not necessarily a way of controlling the universe directly as a result of the performance of ritual, meditation, prayer, and all the rest. There's so many things that we don't know, and it's actually wrong for us to turn around and say that we do know when in fact we do not. Okay? Try and separate belief and knowledge. That's also important. This has been the great and glorious, soon to be famous one day, Nick Dutch, professional tarot reader extraordinaire. Just saying hello to everybody, thanks to everyone who's wished me happy birthday, and I will look forward to speaking to you again very, very soon. And yes, I do have a lot of tarot reading videos to do on the other channel, which is called Nick Dutch Tarot. Do subscribe to it if you haven't already, and subscribe to this channel as well if you haven't as well. And I'll be more than happy to fill you in on more of my discoveries, more of my experiments, and all the rest very soon.